not many people can say they've been the Prime Minister 3 times, but our next guest has done just that.
In addition to his Tony Blair hat-trick, he's also played villainous vampires and David Tennant's long-suffering best friend.
But now Michael Sheen is taking a break from Hollywood to introduce young readers to this, Spark the Dragon, in his very special children's book.
Morning,
Good morning, Michael.
Oh, good morning. This is nice.
Come on, let's move over and get closer.
Where did the idea come from, Michael?
Where did I get the idea from? Well, I've been interested in the themes of the book for a long time, around homelessness, looking for a home, what a home means. And I was asked whether I'd be interested in doing something like this for young readers. And so myself and Jess Webb got together and we worked out the story about Spark, this little dragon who loses his home in a storm and then has to go on a journey to find a home, and people help him, and eventually he finds somewhere that he can call home. So it's something that I can read to my kids as well, which is amazing.
You know what's so lovely about this? Because I could remember going out with my son and seeing homeless people and him always asking, why are they outside, why are they... And being struggling to like come up with a reason as to why that was happening. So this book for kids, it's going to be beautiful.
Yeah, I'm hoping that this gives a sort of a context for people to have those conversations for really young readers. When when you're out in the world and you see things going on and you're curious, asking questions, and as a parent, it's hard to talk about something that complex. And hopefully this gives a sort of a frame of reference to start having those conversations.
Where did that first come to you, Michael, when you first became... I mean, obviously, we're aware of it all our lives. Like, you on the Saturday... I remember Saturday in Colchester with my dad, and there'd always be a couple of guys, and once again, that awful conversation you have with your kids, what now I remember with my son. But where did it first... When did you first become aware of it and it really kind of chimed with you?
I think I remember being... I was doing a play in London at the Almeida, and there's a long road up a street in Islington. So I used to come out the tube and walk that long road all the way to the theatre. And I remember each day I would see people in the shop doorways, And this is, this is quite late on in life, I suppose. I was, in my 20s. It got to the point where it was taking me longer and longer to get to work because I would stop and have a chat with people, and sort of feel like, well, I realised quite quickly that I think we have basic human needs to stay alive. We need to eat, we need to drink water, but we need connection as well, and to feel seen and to feel acknowledged that you're still alive no matter what your circumstances are. And that kind of was a big change for me, seeing that, and so being able to do this, and it's published in association with Shelter. So £1 from every hardback that gets sold and 50p from every paperback goes to Shelter, Shelter Scotland and Shelter Cymru as well, and to help them in what they're doing. But I think the big thing, of course, is not only does it allow young readers to talk about what they might be seeing, but of course a lot of people will experience it themselves as well. Absolutely. Young people will be in... It's not just about being on the streets, it's about being in temporary accommodation as well, So hopefully this tells that story.
So many of it is kind of sliding doors choices, isn't it? I was talking to a guy a couple of weeks ago and he said he moved over to Ireland, broke up with his girlfriend, came back over here, and then before you know it, the money goes like that, and you make a couple of... no addiction issues, you just make a couple of choices, and next thing you know, it's out on the street. And he said it's so hard to get back.
And it can be anybody, really. It can be anybody.
Well, that's the thing. A lot of people I've spoken to over time, maybe a parent has died. And it has such a big emotional impact on you. Things can spiral so quickly. I think we all need help at some point. It's not just about other people or these other people who need help. We all need help at points. And that's sort of, I was listening to your conversation earlier about people in power. The most important thing is we're all vulnerable, we're all going through this life, and we're all going to need help at times. And that's why community is so important, isn't it?
It's a beautiful book, and it's illustrated by Sarah Massini, who's incredible.
Gorgeous,
absolutely beautiful. Congratulations on this book.
Thank you very much.
Did you enjoy writing it?
I did. I loved it, and I really hope that it can be the first of a series of things where we can talk about quite difficult subjects, but in a really entertaining way for young children. I hope so.
We talk about community. You wrote off £1 million in debt for 900 people in Wales recently. Tell us about how that came about and what's the process like?
Well, that's something that I've been sort of working on for a long time. I remember many, many years ago, I saw John Oliver in America doing his show in America, and he did a similar thing where he bought a load of debt and then wrote it off. And that sort of put the idea in my mind. And various people have done very similar things over the years, amazing stuff. So when I got the opportunity to do it, I realised I had never heard about the secondary debt market. Essentially, companies buy up debt, and then you can buy it cheaper and cheaper. The people who owe the debt still owe the same amount, but the people who are buying it can get it at a lower and lower price. So I realised that I could buy, for £100,000 of my own money, I could buy £1 million of debt. And, of course, I'm not looking to get it back. I just wiped it out.
So the company would be looking to get that back over a longer period of time?
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, exactly.
But you affected over 900 people.
Yeah.
You affected, like, you got rid of their debt.
Yeah.
How did that feel as a human to do that to someone?
Well, it was strange because I don't know who they are. Because I was never allowed to find out who the people were, yeah.
And do they know who did it?
Well, we sent a letter. So the moment that you buy someone's debt, you have to legally let them know that you have bought their debt. So we sent them a letter with a link in it, and I made a video so that if they pressed the link, they would see me going, "Hi, I'm Michael Sheen, I bought your debt and it's gone now." But of course,
people think it's a scam.
People think it's a scam. Of course they do.
Yeah.
It was a stupid idea of mine to do that.
So did no one click it?
Well, I don't know. I mean, listen, if you're out there, good luck to you. I hope it's made a difference.
We have to talk a little bit about Soccer Aid. You're one of the great Soccer Aid heroes. I remember Michael came out. Literally, he played for about half an hour, and he came hobbling off. And his toe, especially, always his toe is like falling off. But it is a great. It's coming up like week.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of the most unforgettable experiences of my life. I think it was 8 years I was captain of the rest of the world team, playing at Old Trafford.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just extraordinary. But in the end, I was getting injured in the warm-up. I wasn't even getting on the pitch.
Oh, look at you. But at least you were there.
I was there.
You were there.
I was there.
And we've got to talk about these iconic characters who you've played. There's some incredible ones, but I'm interested to know which character stayed with you the longest after the camera stopped rolling?
That's a good question. I played Kenneth Williams, from the Carry On film.
Yeah.
And it was a very concentrated film. We did it in like 15 days or something, but I did so much research. And when it got to the end, you're such a larger-than-life character. And when it got to the end and they say cut and that's it, I sort of felt like, well, what do I do with this now? I spent the last, doing all this. But I knew so much about him. I was like, I should go on Mastermind or something. And like, what do you do now? So it's quite hard to let go. I had to be him for a little bit every day for a while, just to decompress.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah. And Brian Clough, who combined my love of acting and football to be able to bring those together on the Damned United. That was amazing.
You are incredible.
Well, what's next? And Iron Bevan. I mean,
yeah. Well, last year,
this is my truth. Tell me yours. Eh?
Last year we did the play Nye. New play about Iron Bevan creation in the NHS, and we did it at the National and in Cardiff, and it was so popular. We're back doing it again this year. Right. So that's to be able to tell that story, to say those words, is such a privilege. To be again talking about people in power. I mean, he was a man who was down the mines as a kid, saw the injustice around him, and thought, I need power to change this, to make this better. Ends up becoming the Minister for Health and Housing after the war, and changing all our lives, creating the NHS. I mean, extraordinary use of power.
When you do a play and then you rest for a while and you come back, is it muscle memory? Can you remember everything quite easily?
Well, I'm hoping so. I go into rehearsals on Monday, I hope so.
You're going to be brilliant, Michael. It's an absolute pleasure. And your book, Michael's book, A Home for Spark the Dragon, is out now. Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out, and we'll see you in the morning.